Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to do today's video because I think I made the right choice in doing wrap-up videos every other month rather than monthly, because I build up the excitement to talk to you guys about certain books and I don't feel the pressure of having to do it every single month. So I think we're gonna keep going with every other month wrap-up videos. And for today's video, obviously we're going to go over the books that I read in the months of March and April. I think I had a pretty good reading month, or reading months. These 2 months, I think I had really good books and really good ratings compared to my average, if you know what I mean. So super excited to talk to you guys about them. Let's just jump right in. We're gonna start off this video pretty strong, and that's with Fireborne by Rosia Munda. This was a surprise love. So I picked this book up during one of my vlogs. It was spending a day in New York City. I picked this up at Barnes because we were out. I didn't have a book with me and I just wanted to read. I was really in the mood to read a YA fantasy. So I picked this up because the ratings were pretty decent on Goodreads. And then the next 2 books in the series had even better ratings. So that's a really, really good sign. It is a dragon book, so if you love dragons, dual POV, it follows Annie and Lee. They are both orphans, but in very different classes. So Annie was born and raised by lower class citizens, and they're called peasants, which is terrible, but they're called peasants. And then Lee was born in a noble family. The revolution happened, his whole family eliminated, basically. And this isn't spoiling anything. This just is his backstory that you already know, because I'm not spoiling anything, I promise. So they're both orphans and they become kind of inseparable at the orphanage. They grow up and then they become dragon riders. What's really cool about this book is the concept of dragon riders. They're more like a part of the military and they have their own section, and the dragons choose their riders when they're really young. So the dragons are babies and the kids are chosen around the ages of 9 and 10, and then you start training and going up in your ranks as you get older. And I thought the concept was really cool because that means the dragon during its youth picks a human rider and they kind of bond. The way this is shown in the book is really fascinating because of how much of a connection you feel with the dragons as a rider. It was really fascinating to read. The plot of this is basically the characters are trying to be the best riders while also trying to balance the government and incoming doom and war. They're in training to become higher ups in the government of their society. I feel like you don't see that very often, especially because they're so young, but they're in training, so they're sitting in on decision making and they get a say and an opinion on decisions, but they also have to handle those consequences of those decisions. It's really heartbreaking to see decisions being made that you know is probably going to be good in the long run for people, and the characters are trying to do what's best for everyone, but they also have to receive the hate and consequences of their decisions because common people aren't going to understand why you're doing certain things, because in that moment you're harming them, but they don't understand that in the long run it's going to help. With their different backgrounds, they kind of have to juggle what's right and wrong and how to handle certain things, and I just think it's really interesting. I feel like I've been rambling on for this book. I ended up giving Fireborne a 4.5. 4.5 is such a good rating in my scale because 4.5 means I loved every single thing about this book and I would recommend it to almost anyone that loves a YA fantasy and not looking for super heavy romance. There's slight romance in here. It's like a very small subplot, and I know some people don't like that when they're looking for romanticities, but if you're looking for a YA fantasy that isn't super romance heavy. The next book I've had on my physical TBR for a really, really long time. I think I picked this one up when I was trying to do reading sad books for a week, and I just had a bunch of sad books to pick from, and I didn't end up reading this one now that I had the time and I didn't really know what to read after Fireborne. I picked this up. This is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I bought this book or when I started reading this book. I just knew, obviously, they both die at the end because that's what the title says. I also knew that it was the concept of knowing when you're gonna die. The plot of this is you follow Mateo and Rufus. They both get a phone call from this program in this new society. They are told that they're gonna die within 24 hours. This program calls people the day that they're gonna die, and they're gonna say, hey, so you're going to die in 24 hours or within 24 hours. Okay, bye. I feel like it's really controversial between people on whether you want to know and not wanting to know. And I think this book really plays out how it could be good both ways. And I really enjoyed that aspect. I did not enjoy how morbid it was, but that's my fault. Like, I went into this, of course it's gonna be morbid, Lucy. I don't know what you were thinking, but I think I wasn't in the mindset of that. But I did still really enjoy this book. I ended up giving this book a 3-star. It's not one of those books that I'm going to think about very much in the future, but in the moment I enjoyed it. But then we have If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nowlin. This is the second book after If He Had Been With Me. I was really excited to read this for a specific POV. In the first book, you only get Autumn's POV. So I was excited to see what Finney thought of the whole situation and how it all played out in his POV. But then I learned that there were different POVs in this book, 3 in total. I was kind of caught off guard because I was just expecting Finney's, but I was also then pleasantly surprised when I really enjoyed the other 2 POVs. Finney's was good, don't get me wrong, I still liked it. It was still really heartbreaking, but the other 2 really opened your eyes at the experiences that everyone goes through, and it felt really raw. I just think that the author did a really good job writing down how differently people grieve. I ended up giving it a 3.25. There's not a plot to it. It's a character study, basically. You are just following these characters as they are experiencing this life-changing event and how they're going through their day to day. And that's it. There's not like a plot to it, but I still think it was really well written. I didn't get bored. I did cry. I was really surprised because I didn't cry in the first book, but I did cry for this one. Next up, we go back to YA fantasy. YA adult? I don't know. I'm confusing myself even more. Belladonna was a Fairy Loot box special edition book that I got, so therefore it is YA because that subscription is specifically for YA romanticises. So I'm assuming this one is YA. Again, I think this is just the theme of today's video. This one surprised me. Do I love it? No, I didn't love it, but I actually enjoyed it so much more than the other 2. The character relationship dynamic was kind of fun to read. I really enjoyed Signa and Death in the first book. They were a very different kind of romantasy and character that I've seen before. And then this one follows 2 different characters. I think their situation was just more interesting because of why they were forced to be close to each other. Like, it's forced proximity, fake marriage. No, it's a real marriage. They don't want to be married at first. I really enjoyed the concept of the different gods and deities. They're not really gods, they're just higher beings that have the power of the world. So you have life, you have fate, you have death, and then you have chaos, and they all kind of weave together to make life what life is, basically. I ended up giving this book a 3.75. The next book that I read was on my Kindle, and it was Love Mom. I'll put it up here. This is kind of a mystery thriller. It was Jasmine's pick for our book club read, and we were really excited to jump into a thriller mystery because I don't think we have read a thriller mystery in our book club altogether, at least not recently, so we were really excited to jump right in. I've personally never heard of Love Mom before, but it has really good ratings. You follow a college student named Mackenzie. Right from the beginning, her mom is dead. It's suspicious. Kenzie doesn't really have a great relationship with her parents, especially her mom, because her mom has always been kind of cold and distant with Mackenzie. So when her mom mysteriously died and people were saying like it was just an accident, she didn't really bat an eye until she starts getting mysterious letters. And these letters are intriguing to her because they're telling a story that is exposing a lot of things within her family and also just the past. It was just so fun to take guesses at what was going on, but then also just literally not knowing what was going on. I can't tell you too much because I want you guys to go into it as blindly as we did because it was just really enjoyable. I rated this book a 4-star because I just loved the pacing until last third of the book where it started getting a little repetitive and it felt like she was trying to drag it on. I think the issue with that portion of the book was because us as readers got a lot of answers in between that Mackenzie, our main character, did not get. Like, Mackenzie did not get that information, but we as readers did. So when we jumped back into Mackenzie's POV, it was really frustrating to see her not understand all the different clues. It was just kind of frustrating, but obviously you understand that she doesn't know what we know. In my humble opinion, obviously I still really enjoy the book. I just didn't think that giving the readers all the answers in the middle, not all, but like basically telling the readers what happened towards that halfway point was a good idea because it made things a little bit less mysterious and thrilling and just kind of repetitive. But overall, I still really enjoyed it. I think we all rated it 4 stars, so that was a success. I do recommend if you like thriller mysteries. The next one is a YA mystery and it's The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is the 3rd book in the Truly Devious series. Guys, I'm gonna be so honest with you, I just don't think this series was for me, but I also was not very interested while I was reading this book. I gave it a 3-star because I think it was well written and I think the concept and the plot is interesting, but I just could not get into it for some reason. Like, I just didn't really care. I didn't care about the crime. The characters I don't love. They're kind of just there. Is that bad? Is that bad to say? I just didn't love it that much, but I can respect a good book. I rated it a 3-star because I think it was still well written and I did enjoy some parts of it, but I also just did not connect. And I feel like with mysteries, if you're not interested in the case or the characters, you kind of are left feeling a little stale. With that being said, I actually really enjoyed the 4th book in the series. That's just my opinion, obviously. Again, I still think it was a decent book, just not for me personally. We are still in our thriller mystery, and the next one is That's Not My Name. This is a book following 2 POVs. You have Mary, who is a girl that is found on the side of the road with amnesia. She does not know what happened to her. She is all injured, bloody, no idea how that happened. And then you have another POV, which is a boy named Drew, and he is the boyfriend of a girl that went missing. He's trying to figure out what happened to her. If you like true crime documentaries, I highly recommend you read this book. Like, the pacing of it was so good and I did not feel any type of lull in it whatsoever. I had a bunch of theories. Some of them were right, some of them were wrong. I rated this book a 4.25. Really, really enjoyed it. I actually will have a reading vlog with this up coming soon, so look out for that. Second to last book I read for this wrap-up video is One Dark Window. This has been on my physical TBR for a really, really long time. This is a Fairy Loot special edition, so I didn't personally pick it out. This was in a subscription box. At first, I just never heard of it. I just thought it was such a cool concept. And then people started talking about it more and more and it got on my radar. I tried to read it a while back, but then I wasn't in the mood for it, so I put it down. But recently, I picked this book for our book club book after Love Mom, and I wanted another YA fantasy, and I thought this one would be perfect because I heard such good reviews on it and I thought the plot line was really interesting. The magic system, first of all, is really fascinating, really, really, really cool. In this world, there is a fever that people catch, and if you catch this fever, you will develop magic, and magic does not come without a price in this world. So if you have magic, you are degenerating, and degenerating is very different between people. You either slowly die because of one reason. It's kind of like the plague. It's not always supposed to be deadly, but the king kills you, so technically you're just gonna die if you catch the fever. Elsbeth catches the fever when she is 11 years old. She is hidden away by her family because they don't want her to die, and she ends up having this magic. All we know from the beginning is she has this creature in her head, and she calls it the nightmare. He basically just lives in her mind. He is sentient, he can make decisions, and he talks to her. She's not like hallucinating it. She ends up joining this organization, not really an organization, just a group of people that are trying to save the kingdom, because there is a prophecy of how to save the kingdom, and she is able to help. It's just so interesting. The magic system is really interesting. Not everyone has magic. The only magic you have is when you catch the fever, but another way is through cards. I imagine them kind of like tarot cards, and each card gives you different powers. I was super into the plot and the concept, but I also really liked the romance part. I would categorize it as a romantasy, but it wasn't super heavy to the point where I was like, get on with it. It was nice to see cute slow burn, but also not too slow burn because it's only a 2-book series. So Raven, I freaking love Raven. The last book we have for this wrap-up video is Apprentice to the Villain. This is the second book after Assistant to the Villain, and I think it's only 3 books. Let me double check before I talk out of my butt. Okay, yeah, it is a 3-book series. The 3rd book is releasing August 5th, 2025, which is coming up. I love the first one and I love the second one, and I'm most likely going to love the 3rd one. If you guys are looking for a cozy kind of fairy tale storybook romantasy, is this adult or is this YA? There are some moments where the characters say things that I'm like, okay, this feels more adult, but then other parts I'm like, no, this would be a YA book, like young adult. Do your research. It is such a cute book. It is so unserious. Guys, when I tell you the plot is so unserious, I do not feel any type of angst ever or anxiety reading this series. I go into this wanting a story time. Imagine you're an adult and you're being tucked in at night and someone sits down and reads you a bedtime story. This is what that feels like. This is that for adults. Like, I just think it's such a cute little fun read. If you guys have never heard of Assistant to the Villain, it is exactly what the title is. This girl is looking for a job. She ends up being the assistant to the villain, and it all just spirals because there are things that are morbid but are written in a certain way that is just so funny and cute. Like, what do you mean there are heads on spikes? What do you mean there's an eyeball rolling in the office? I freaking love this series. After what happened in the first one, Evie becomes more like a villain herself. So in the first one, like the title says, she's the assistant. She kind of just gets coffee, does the mundane things an assistant would do for their boss. But as the series progresses, the more she's like more villain mindset, you know? So now she's the apprentice to the villain and she's like tagging along to certain things, part of the plan, you know? So it's just so funny to read. Got a little bit of a workplace romance going on. One, he's like, I'm the villain, like I can't love anybody, it would be so hard for her to love me, it would be dangerous for her, it would be dangerous for me. And then she's just like, dude, I just like you. Like, what's your issue? What's your problem? You can see how smiley I am while I'm talking about this book. It's just a fun book to read. It is 100% Grumpy Sunshine trope. He is such a grump. He's a villain. He's a very storybook villain. And then she is so sunshine. She says everything that's on her mind. That's what I love about her. She'll just say what's on her mind. Some things that she says would come off really creepy if it was being said by the villain. But the way she says it is like, oh, like that's kind of cute, like you're so cute. So their relationship is really funny because he is trying to be this kind of person that is dark and moody and trying to show people that he doesn't care about anyone but himself, but then she saunters in and he's like, proper name. Basically, that's his reaction. Obviously, I really enjoyed this book. I rated it a 4.25. Love. The battery died on my camera, so that is my cue. That is my camera's way of telling me that I've been talking way too freaking long for this video. But luckily that was the last book, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really happy with the books that I read in the last 2 months, so hopefully this continues in the next 2 months. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!